Coach, you've had success everywhere you've been. What's been the key to that? Why have you been so successful in every stop you've been in?
Obviously, I think my staff's recruited really good players, great players. We've had great talent, but we've also, we've developed those guys. You look at Great Osobor's, development from year to year to year. Mm-hmm. And so I think we've proven, if you stick with us, like we're going to get you better on and off the court. But I think, the discipline and the daily details that go into winning, like we pride our program on that. And I'm going to be relentless on that every day, because I think those are things that you have to fight for every day in your program and for your culture. And those are just things that I'm relentless on.
You mentioned Great Osobor, one of your better players. He talked very highly of you. He said that he talked about your coaching style on the court, and he said off the court, he said he loves you. How do you develop these type of relationships with these guys that go this deep?
Yeah, I mean, you have to spend time with them, and they have to know that I love them off the court. If I'm going to coach them as hard as I want to on the court, like they have to know that I'm there for them as a person. Mm-hmm. I'm not just there for Great when he's getting Mountain West MVP last year or scoring 20 points against Weber State. Like, I have to be there in the hard times when he's struggling. I have to be able to call him in the office and be like, no, like you're going to be okay. And I think those kind of conversations, or, just a conversation about, I may jump you for 2 straight hours in practice, but that night you might be at my house for dinner. And I'm not going to talk about practice. I'm going to ask you about every other aspect of your life because it matters to me. And that's how I grew up. My dad was a football coach, and I saw the impact he had on his players. And I knew it just wasn't all about football or basketball.
Okay. What attracted you to Washington? Because you had an opportunity to go a lot of different places, but you chose to go to Washington. Why?
Yeah, probably the comfort level. My dad played football at University of Washington, so I'd always been a Husky fan since I was little. And that's why it's still kind of surreal that I'm here at University of Washington. But, I'm a West Coast kid, being in Montana, but, kind of cutting my teeth in the coaching realm in Los Angeles for 18 years as an assistant at Cal State Northridge and Cal State Fullerton. And so, like, seeing the success Washington had with Isaiah Thomas and Brandon Roy and Quincy Pondexter and, Spencer Hall, the names just go on and on. Like, I always admired it from afar, and like they were a program I always rooted for.
So I read a story where you were actually born in Pullman.
Yeah.
Because your dad was a coach at Idaho, and they didn't have a hospital.
They didn't have a hospital.
So it ate him alive that you were born in
Pullman, right on the Cougars campus.
Oh, wow. Has anybody been riding you about that at all?
Oh, they all have. And it's funny because a lot of people, they thought I was from Washington. I was just born there, and obviously I was there for like 4 months, but I had people from Montana that were like, they were mad at me, like, you're not from Washington. I'm like, no, listen, I'm from Montana now. Don't get it twisted. And so I had to clarify that in a couple of the press conferences that, no, I was born there. I'm from Montana. Okay. And that's where I was born and raised, really.
No, I thought that was a great thing, talking about your dad. So, Coach, what do you notice about the Big Ten that you have to prepare your staff and your players for in terms of style of play?
Yeah, I think the physicality, I think the coaching is off the charts, the preparation. Like playing against Coach Painter's teams, like it doesn't matter if it's a new play that I just put it in they were ready for it. And so that just shows how well coached they are. And you can go down the line. There's so many Hall of Fame coaches, but you just look at the programs and, obviously you played in this league, but I'm excited to go into Indiana and see Assembly Hall, to go into the I-Zone. Like those are historic things. Mm-hmm. And for our players to be able to go and play and have to deal with the adversity they're going to have to deal with on the road, and how are we going to find a way to come out on top? Like, I think it's going to be spectacular.
Have you talked to your staff about the travel requirements that you guys are going to have? Because it's going to be massive at times. How do you approach that?
Yeah, we're still, it'll be a lot of trial and error the first year.
Okay.
But we're trying to figure out, okay, if we play a Thursday game, do we leave Tuesday after class? Because traveling west to east, as you know, like it's a lot harder than going east to west. Right. We're losing 2-3 hours, and sometimes on that first night of travel, you're just staring at the ceiling in your hotel room at 3 a.m. Just, man, I got to get to sleep, but you can't. And so, we've talked to some NBA teams and tried to figure out the best possible way, whether it's hydration or just to get back on a sleep schedule, or do you just stay on the same Pacific Standard Time? And so a lot of it will be trial and error the first year, but I mean, we're obviously gonna take care of our student athletes and give them, hopefully the best advice we can get.
So for the Big Ten fans that are really looking forward to seeing the Washington Huskies, what do they look like when they're hitting on all cylinders under Danny Sprinkle?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to, play fast but play disciplined offensively. Like I want to shoot some threes in transition if they're open, but I also know we have to play through the post and we have to be able to execute. Teams are too good once you get into league play that you're not going to get a lot in transition. So how good is your execution going to be? I want to be great at setting screens. I want to be great at, making the right reads and taking the quality shot. And then on the defensive side, you have to be tough and physical, and that's what our teams have done in the past. I mean, we want to make teams score over us, and we want to be able to guard your action and then make you take a tough contested two, and then you got to rebound it. And at the end of the day, you take care of the ball and you rebound, you're going to have a chance to win.
You did a heck of a job recruiting because you had to re-recruit some guys. You had to get this very special guard, Zoom Diallo, to stay back. What was the key to that?
Yeah, I think, meeting with them face to face and kind of telling them my vision and how I'm going to coach them. Like Zoom had, he had a lot of people on him, and I just told him, I was like, I'm not giving you the keys to anything. Like, you're going to have to earn that. But what I'm going to do in my staff, we're going to make you the best player you can be. We're going to develop you. We're going to help you, navigate being a freshman in the Big Ten, because there's going to be a lot of adversity that you're going to go through. And, some highly rated high school kids, they think they're just going to come in and dominate, and it's like it's not like that everywhere. It's hard, and so being there for him when he does go through those tough times, and I think we got our point across of my success having point guards. I've had a first team all league point guard all 5 years I've been a coach, and so our system is point guard reliant, and we got to have a great point guard in order for us to succeed.
Leaving the Mountain West to the Big Ten with a team from the Pac-12. What unique challenges does that present for you?
Yeah, I think, the biggest challenge is just going to be the competition. There's no nights off, and there's no relief. After a tough loss, you're getting right back at it. And it might be on the road at Purdue. It might be playing Rutgers at home. There's no nights off. And so you have to have that next play mentality, as a coach, a next game. You got to clean the slate, and you got to have your team in the right frame of mind to be able to bounce back and to play at a high level every night, because if you don't, you're going to be in a world of hurt and it can spiral out of control.
So Great Osobor is all preseason, all Big Ten, but he's also preseason, all name.
Yes.
He could be All-American.
Yep.
What's great about Great?
I think his personality, I think who he is as a person, I think his confidence, and I think his family, they're all great. In fact, they're terrific. And, he represents his family. He takes a lot of pride in that name. And, and it's fun because I know him obviously a lot more intimately than a lot of people, just because I recruited him as a 16-year-old, and seeing, how much his family, how much his sisters mean to him. And I know his why. I know why he's working hard. I know why he is who he is. And it's all for his family.